Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to the Best Damn Golf Podcast going. And of course, that's the 19th hole podcast for golfers with me, Dennis Silvers, your host, and happy to have you with us on various platforms, no matter where you're watching. We got a great show for you today, a very interesting show, and I'm with a gentleman that I haven't talked to before. We've talked the last couple of days, but I'm very intrigued by a program that he's got going that is going to benefit you, especially if you play golf. To very easy to do, and I'm really looking forward to the information that we're going to be getting. The weather here in Las Vegas is windy. It's cold. It's not a great time to play golf. We're kind of up and down with our weather. Next week, it's going to be close to 80. So, you know, that's what it is when we get into the springtime here in Las Vegas. And also the Players Championship has been delayed after about 3-4 holes due to, I guess, inclement weather at TPC Sawgrass with Justin Thomas defending. Let me give you some of the favorites that are listed in case you're going to follow this tournament, and hopefully you put a few bucks on somebody to win. Colin Morikawa, interestingly enough, is the favorite at plus 1,100. Followed by the defending champion, Justin Thomas, who is plus 1,300. Jon Rahm is also a favorite at 1,300 as well. Viktor Hovland, one of the hottest players on the PGA Tour right now, is at plus 1,700. Rory McIlroy, who's starting to show signs of getting his game together and playing very well, is at plus 1,900. Patrick Cantlay and Scotty Scheffler are both at 20 plus 2,400. And we've got some homies. Kevin Na is 2,100 plus 2,100. Charlie Hoffman is plus 2,800. That's 280 to 1. And Scott Piercy, cruel, is at plus 6,500. So I wouldn't be betting Scott Piercy probably unless you're really looking for a long shot. Anyway, let me tell you about our guest before we bring him up. Stephen Yellen is the founder of Fluid Motion Factor program. This revolutionary program is a mental training program for athletes virtually in any kind of sport. Stephen worked with a neuroscientist, and they identified one neuropsychological process in the mind that helps you get to zone experiences in all sports and basically in golf. Some examples of players that Stephen has worked with are Scotty McCarron, Trevor Immelman, Lee Jansen, Robert Allenby, the French Olympic golf team, the Danish national team, the 2016 NC2A Women's Championship team from the University of Washington. Stephen has authored 3 books and has produced 3 online video programs. His website is fluidmotiongolf.com. So with that being said, it's our pleasure right now to welcome Stephen onto the show. Stephen, we appreciate you taking time out and coming on the show, my friend. I thank you for it.
Dennis, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Before we get into the actual questioning, Stephen, please tell our viewers what exactly neuroscience is and how that relates to sports.
Well, there's one process in the mind that when an athlete accesses, the body is free to do what it wants to do. And every golfer, if they play long enough, knows that space. Essentially, they experience 3 things. 1, time slows down. 2, the mind becomes very quiet. 3, the body feels very liquid and powerful. You all know that space because when you access that space, you play your best golf. The problem is you never know when that is going to show up. You don't know how long it lasts.
Right.
And when it leaves, you have no idea how to look to get it back.
Right.
So all 3 of these subjective experiences are based on accessing one neurophysiological process in the mind that I have just labeled the fluid motion. It's not my process. It's every human being's.
Okay. You were a very highly ranked tennis player. Did that have any influence on you at all, eventually getting into the fluid motion program?
Oh, it initiated the whole program. I had one experience. I was playing for the University of Pennsylvania tennis team back in 1975. I was the #1 singles player. And I had this extraordinary experience. I never, ever played on that level before. And after a very long period of time, let's say about 40 years, I developed a program that gives athletes in all sports, not just tennis and golf, but programs that go in 12 sports, the opportunity to set up the very, very subtle conditions. These are very subtle conditions that allow athletes to play their best and have these kind of zone experiences.
Okay. Briefly explain for us then, Stephen, how you discovered fluid motion and can it work for any type of personality? As an example, if somebody is super hyper all the time, how does this quiet their mind and help their brain, so to speak?
Well, let me describe what this process is,
okay.
if I could, Dan. Okay?
Sure.
So in order to initiate a motion, any motion, whether it's walking across the street or swinging a golf club, you have to initiate a signal, an intention in the brain.
Right.
Now, there's two parts of the brain that are really interesting in producing motion. One is called the prefrontal cortex, which is the discriminating intellect. It's also called the CEO of the brain. It oversees all processes. And the other is the motor system. Now, when any of your golfers out there that are listening produces a fluid, well-synced, well-balanced, good tempo golf shot, during the 1.5 seconds it takes to generate that motion, the signal bypasses the prefrontal cortex, which means the intellect goes offline. The signal goes right to the motor system, and it's the motor system which communicates with the body to produce motion. The problem occurs, and it's a huge problem, is when the prefrontal cortex or the intellect goes online. Then it delays the signal moving to the motor system. Then in the middle of the motion, the body is looking for direction. There's too many processes going on, and that's when the bulkier core muscles dominate the motion.
Interesting.
Now, to answer your question about different psychological types, this kind of person, no, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Someone could be a type A, a type B, a type C, and there's a type D. It doesn't matter because fluid motion is produced identically for every golfer, every sport, producing any motion regardless of their skill level. It's the exact identical process.
I was going to ask you, and I might as well put it out there right now since you mentioned that, does this work more quickly, for lack of a better term, with elite players as opposed to the average weekend amateur you're going to see?
No.
Okay.
No. It works actually. The mind was created to produce fluid motion when it's more silent. Every golfer, every athlete knows that if they start thinking too much, they're cooked, they're toast, that's it.
Yeah.
So once you sort of give someone a little technique to quiet the mind wants to go there automatically because that's the only way you can produce fluid motion. So regardless of the skill level, now obviously if you're working with a Trevor Immelman or an Allenby and you get them to quiet the mind a little bit, they're going to produce something magnificent.
Right.
But you know that 18 handicap golfer has hit some really, really good shots.
Right.
And if you move their mind to being more quiet, more silent, then those shots turn up. And let me just say this, Dennis. This is a revolutionary program because it's a mental training program that has nothing to do with sports psychology, zero to do with sports psychology. I have no sports psychology background.
You bring up a good point, because, again, that was a question that I was going to ask you, how this program differs from the multitudinous mental coaches, golf psychologists, whatever you want to call them. What is the biggest distinction, Stephen?
The biggest distinction is that sports psychology has to do with attitudes, emotions, beliefs, self-confidence, routine.
Right.
I never go there. I'm only interested in what the brain physiology is experiencing during 1.5 seconds it takes to produce a golf motion. I want to know the motherboard of why someone swings with a well-synced, solidly hit golf shot one swing and not on another. And the sports psychology has more to do with what's in between the shots. I only want to know what's going on during that 1.5 seconds, and that's what I've dedicated my life to.
Okay, so if a guy's out and he careers a shot, onto the putting green, and he turns around to his playing partners, which happens all the time, and goes, why the hell can't I do that all the time? It's because his mind was quiet without knowing.
Dennis, this is not rocket science. Golf is all about motion. Motion is all about the muscles. Where's the operating system of the muscles? Where's the operating system of the muscles? It's not in the muscles, it's in the brain physiology.
Right.
So when this 18 handicap golfer hits a shot and just says to himself, geez, if I could do this more often, I would be so happy and content out there and satisfied, something must have happened in his brain physiology. He is absolutely clueless. He has no idea what happened, no idea how to set up those conditions. And it's just hoping and praying they show up again. And this is exactly what happens on the PGA Tour. These guys are just hoping and praying. They're hoping and praying. They don't have a systematic way to get there, that they can access that space. Because when they access that space, Scotty, 2 out of the last 3 tournaments, you know what? The swing is synced, control the distance on the wedges,
right,
putts, very fluid, find a good slot on the way down. All the good things happen.
You're 100% right. And I think most amateurs, if they hit that kind of a great shot, career one, they look more towards the swing mechanics rather than the mind. Am I correct?
I'm going to tell you something that this physiologist who I work with, who worked with 2 Olympic teams, Norway and Denmark, 2 of the top winter Olympic teams in the world, told to me about 15, 20 years ago, that absolutely caused a nuclear explosion in my brain. He said, Stephen, do you know if you groove emotion, any emotion, and of course the key word is groove, I'm not talking about rote beginners.
Right.
When someone has grooved emotion, that motion can't break down. What breaks down is the ability to access what you already own. Now, you can think of muscle memory or motion memory, if you want to describe it like that, define it like that, as money in the bank. Let's say you want to save $10,000. So you go to the bank, open the account, start putting your money in, $100, $200, $300, $300. Finally, you have your $10,000.
Right.
Now you go to the bank on Tuesday, your money is there. You go to the bank 2 years from now, your money is there. You go to the bank 5 years from now, your money hasn't gone anywhere. Muscle memory is exactly the same. Once you have grooved emotion, and again, the key word is groove, your motion cannot break down.
Okay.
What breaks down is your ability to access it.
It, right.
But accessing what you already own is the slipperyest slope in sports. It defines careers. Now, if these guys are on the PGA Tour, okay, I watched the Bay Hill last week. Very interesting. These guys don't miss a ball in the rain. They get to the course and they miss a lot of balls. Now, of course, when you miss a shot, something happened mechanically in the swing that was not good. Obviously, you know.
Right.
They took it too far on the inside, too far on the outside.
Right.
Transition was quick. Double crossed themselves, left the club ball. It could be, many, many things. But Remember, muscle memory doesn't break down. They have violated the rules of the bank. And the muscle memory has very specific rules. They're not my rules. Just like the heart works one way, the kidneys work one way. Well, producing fluid motion works the same for all athletes in all sports. Now, if you violate the rules of the bank, meaning you have $10,000 in your account, and you go to withdraw one of your really outstanding swings during that 1.5 seconds it takes to generate a swing, and you have violated the rule of the bank, well, you don't have access to your $10,000. You may have only access to $3,900.
Right.
You look at what was the bunker shot on 17, his tee shot on 18, Woodland. What happened? What happened?
Good question.
Okay, what happened? I'll tell you exactly what happened, Dennis. On that bunker shot, great lie, a lot of green to work with, okay? He violated the rules of the bank. He went to get this $10,000 worth of bunker shots that he said at 10,000, and the teller said, no, not so quick.
Yeah.
You have violated the rules of the bank, so your timing is off. Your contact point is off. You're too steep or you're too shallow. He did the same thing on 18. Now, you think he missed any of those kinds of shots in a warm-up round or a practice round? No. No, they never do. So what I teach is I teach golfers how to not violate the rules of the bank. These are not my rules. When you go to a cardiologist and he explains how the heart works, he's not saying these are my rules on how the heart works. No. It's nature. So in many ways, this is not my program. It's not my program. It's your birthright.
Correct.
To understand the rules of the bank. So if you have money in the bank, you can access it whenever you want.
Right. No, that's very well said. That's very, very interesting. All right, I'll tell you what, Stephen, we're going to step away, take our first short break, and we come back. We're going to have a lot more fascinating discussion with fluid motion with Steve and Yellen. And we're going to take a short break right now. We're going to kick it off with Tea Time with JT. We'll see you right after this.
Are you an E or a C?
Both have Ridgeback.
These are loaded with tech.
Which one are you gaming? Definitely E for me.
It's just so forgiving.
I'm definitely an E. C is for Cheka. What else?
C is for kill it.
C is me. Low spinning bombs.
So, are you an E or a C?
I don't know. Hey, wait a minute.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Want to get stronger, more flexible, fit into your clothes more easily, or even hit your drives 15 yards longer? I've created a series of fast and effective programs that combine mobility, strength, and Pilates that you can do in your home or in the gym a few times a week to achieve your goals. Hi, I'm Janice Thornton, and I'm a certified online personal trainer with JT Fitness and Golf. I can help you get motivated and feel healthier in just a few weeks. Whether it's beating your buddies at golf, getting longer off the tee, or wearing that favorite dress again, I can help you reach your goals. Imagine being able to take a break from your busy day, walk into your workout space, and have an online personal trainer waiting for you. The variety of workouts will motivate you. Your training experience should not be mundane and boring. It should be something you look forward to and results driven. See the results, be the results. Let's connect today. You can email, text, or call, or set up an appointment through my calendar. What are you waiting for? Get JT Fit today.
All right, we got so excited that we have a new advertiser on the show, and that is Tour Edge Golf, probably the best damn golf clubs you can buy for the price played by a lot of champions, as you saw in their commercial, and a little bit starting next week. They have a master fitter out here in Las Vegas, a great guy by the name of Kerry DeCesar. We'll put a separate thing up where you could contact him if you're interested in getting fitted for Tour Edge, and I highly recommend it. So we're going to go with that. Anyway, back to the founder of the Fluid Motion Factor program, Mr. Stephen Yellen. Stephen, every golfer knows about and is craving to get in the zone. What is your definition of the zone?
The zone is when you access the fluid motion factor. It's a neurophysiological phenomenon. Because after all, when someone is dialed in, something must have happened in brain physiology that allowed the body to be free.
Right.
So it's very simple. It's not, I had a really good attitude, a better attitude that's important. I focused more that day, well, that's important. I believed in myself more that day, well, that's important. But a lot of times you have those same emotions and you just stink it up out there. So you have to go to the origin of where motion is produced, because when someone does have a zone experience, that motion is working like a 12-cylinder Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's not working, well, you've got a 12-cylinder Ferrari and you're only firing on 6 cylinders.
Right. That's I like that.
Now,
go ahead.
I'll tell you an interesting story. You just saw the Tour Edge commercial, right? And you saw Scotty McCarron, all right? Right? Scott's been playing Tour Edge a long time. I'll tell you the story with Scott. So Scott learned the Fluid Motion Factor program the year he went on the Champions Tour when he was 50 years old. He went on to win 11 times on the Champions Tour. He won the Schwab Cup.
Right.
In 2019. Now, do you think he won 3 times on the PGA Tour? He won 11 times on the Champions Tour. Do you think all of a sudden when he turned 50 years old, he found some magic move in his swing that allowed him to win 11 times?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You think all of a sudden, he had a dream about where the club should be or the hand should be at the time? No. What he learned and what he told me is, Stephen, first of all, it's in my book. He has a beautiful book. I have a video on my website about it. He said, people ask me all the time, why I won 3 times on PGA Tour and I won 11 times on the Champions Tour. And the reason is your program, Fluid Motion Factor program. So what happened, he had the $10,000 in the bank on the PGA Tour for 20 years. He had more or less the same amount of money on the Champions Tour.
Right.
He just learned how to access more of what he already owned.
Yeah.
What he already owned.
Yeah, makes sense.
Money.
Yeah, it was always there, and you're right. You just got to learn how to access it. And we're hoping to get Scotty on the show pretty soon because I've had him on a few years ago. He's a great guy. Why does fluid motion, Stephen, do you think works for all kinds of sports? And do you think there's 1 or 2 sports that it works better for?
No, Dennis. You're producing motion if you're doing the bobsled or you're doing a long jump and track and field, or you're putting. Motion is motion. The body doesn't care whether you're swinging a golf club, whether you're hitting a serve, shooting a basketball. The exact same process in the brain physiology. Control motion, irregardless of the sport.
Okay. That makes that's very, very good to hear, because whether you're a golfer or a bowler or a skier, it's you need to learn how to access this. Tell us about your book, Stephen. What gave you the motivation to write your first book? And I believe that's the one that has the foreword by David Ledbetter. But how did that come about? What was your interest in doing that?
Well, I've written 3 books, Dennis.
Right.
And the latest is Simplicity. And the book before that, called The Fluid Motion Factor, Dave, who's a very dear friend, wrote the introduction to last 2 books that I wrote. And the reason why I wrote the books is because this knowledge is not out there. No one's got it. I mean, no, if you sat down with a PGA or an LPGA player and you asked them, really, what happens when you play your best? If you ask them enough questions, they will say, I'm not too sure. I got it to the right place. That's a very ambiguous. That doesn't really answer.
Yeah.
And I felt, humbly speaking, that it was my responsibility since I discovered this and I worked with a neurophysiologist to get this out, because for sure it's helped a lot of athletes in sports.
Yeah. Can you work with fluid motion with, we talked about being a mental coach, being a golf psychologist. Can you put them together to even enhance your experience more? Or is that
100%?
Is that okay? How does that work?
You know, a very dear friend of mine is Bob Winters, who is the sports psychologist, mental coach for Ledbetter Academy.
Yeah, Bob's a great guy.
Bob and I are very dear friends. He loves my program because it complements, it doesn't compete. You know, if someone has a bad attitude, if someone has poor self-esteem, if someone lacks self-confidence, if someone has other issues off the course, you know, a sports psychologist, they may be really able to help them out. But I'm not really interested in those issues. I'm just interested in 1.5 seconds.
Right.
And a sports psychologist is interested more in what happens on the course in between the shots.
Correct. Yeah. And you were right. They talk about the confidence and so on and so forth. But I thought maybe combining the two would be, would be
very powerful.
Yeah, would be very, very powerful. Let me ask you this before we take our short second break. If somebody comes on the golf course and you know how people have trouble sleeping, Stephen, because they can't quiet their mind. If somebody has so much going on in their life, is it still possible for them to take advantage of this program?
100%. Because the mind wants to experience quiet levels during sport. It's its natural tendency. You're not doing anything that's not natural.
Right.
Now, someone who has a lot of outside issues off the course and this and that, okay, there may be a little bit a barrier, but I've worked with people who have outside issues and they were able to quiet their mind, okay? Very quickly, like in a few minutes, 2 minutes, I'm able to get them down to that level.
Okay, that's good. That's very, very good to know. We're going to step away, take a short break, Stephen. When we come back, I want to talk about your videos that you have that are available for viewing online as well. So stay with us. We're going to return more with Stephen Yellen right after these words.
When I first learned about Encore, I was a little taken back because I didn't know much about the ball. I went out and played a couple rounds with it, and I was just extremely surprised how this ball made up for what I was looking for in a golf ball 20 years ago. It's a very straight ball. It launches a little higher than other balls that I've used, which is ideal for the tour because we're playing firm and fast greens. A lot of the balls do fly very similar, but this ball reacts so much differently around the greens and inside 100 yards than any other ball I've ever played. The combination of this ball is the best ball that I've ever played.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
Experience a salon like no other. Charm Beauty Lounge specializes in hair, skin, and a non-surgical, painless way to fuller hair, designed to boost hair volume up to 400% without glue or solvents. Make your appointment today. Call 702-201-1655.
Hey beautiful, come on in. Charm Beauty Lounge, Charm Beauty Lounge.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, having a great show with Stephen Yellen, who is the founder of Fluid Motion and really in great information. Stephen, let me ask you this. Where can our viewers find your books, number one? And number two, tell us about the videos that you have online that's available for them as well.
Well, I suggest they buy the book, my book, Simplicity, and that is available on Amazon. My website is fluidmotiongolf.com. I have a series of videos which they can purchase with, I believe, two options, either just watching the videos or watching the videos and then having a Skype session myself. And all the information on the videos is online. Essentially, you watch me teach someone the program, and then you go through it yourself. It's a very simple program. It has to be a simple program because when someone plays well, it feels very simple. So you're never going to get simplicity from complexity. You're only going to get simplicity.
I agree. 100% right. 100% right. You also are available, if you will, for in-person instruction if somebody wants to come down to Florida?
Come on down to Vero Beach. Your game will never
be
ever,
this.
It will be a life-changing experience.
I love it. I love it. Do you have, is it a full-day course? Is it multiple days? How does that work?
So to learn the full program, it's 2 full days on the course. And all the work takes place on the range, the putting green, and the course. This is not some kind of thing you study. This is something that you do. So I spend 2 full days on the range and putting green. And then we play. I go out and watch you play 9 holes on both days. And then it's a 6-month follow-up, unlimited. You can call or Skype anytime you want. There's always 3 learning curves everyone goes through.
Yeah.
Range course, tournament golf, if you're a competitive golfer. There are many learning curves within the learning curves because I take someone down to a very subtle level. And you know that level you play in golf. It's very subtle. You're there, but you can't really define how you got there, number 1, what you're experiencing, number 2, and how to get back there. So right. I've spent my career, my professional career, understanding all the nuances of that space.
Right. I think what you just said is so important and is so fantastic about, how to get back there if you feel it slipping. Because a lot of times I will ask tour pros that we have on the show, if your game starts going south on, hole number 13, how do you get it into the house? Well, they'll favor one kind of shot over another. But with this is totally different. And if you could teach people how it stays with you or how to get it back, That's phenomenal, and I don't see why every damn touring pro doesn't come to you, Stephen, to get this magic, so to speak.
You know, everything is timing in life. Everyone has their own time. One of the reasons why I moved to Vero is I wanted to be near Jupiter Beach and go big game hunting with big guys. There are a number of tour pros who have read my book that are well known. I won't mention anyone's name. But as soon as someone breaks through, and someone's going to break through, because the program is too good. It's just too good.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, people can realize, hey, I need to understand how to access what I already own as much as I need to understand the grip, the setup, positions, tempo.
Right.
In fact, that's the source. And if you don't understand the source, what you're doing out there every day, you're playing blackjack, and you hope you get a good card if you're sitting at 14. I'm saying that because of broadcasting. So, but even the pros, honestly, Dennis, they just put Band-Aids. Powerful Band-Aids, okay? They just put powerful, and they don't. This is the birthright of every golfer. It's going to change careers. It's going to be like a 45-year overnight sensation. Because once it gets out there, and again, honestly, when someone goes through my program, I say, look, this is not really my program. This is your program. I didn't invent how fluid motion is produced. This process has to happen.
Right.
When you have a simple, systematic way to set up those subtle conditions, you're off to the races.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not like you shoot lights out and career scores every round, but you will become more consistent, and that's all that any golfer wants to become.
That you're 100% right, because if you ask every golfer on the planet what they really want is they'll always say, I want to be more consistent. Do you continue to study with neuroscientists, Stephen, or do like continuing education to find out more about this?
No. I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done because fluid motion is going to be produced the same way now, and it's going to be produced the same way 10,000 years from now.
Okay.
The processes are not going to change. Now,
okay.
What has evolved over the years, especially when I worked at David Ledbetter's Academy, is the ability to access that process has gotten more powerful, more simple, and more repeatable. But the actual process of studying, no, it's cut and dry. It's a cut and dry situation.
Is the same. Okay. Okay. I get it. Fantastic. All right. If somebody watching wants to get a hold of you, maybe is planning a trip down to Vero Beach or coming in Orlando and wants to come see you or anything, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Go to my website, fluidmotiongolf.com. There's the contact form. If you're a serious golfer and you're somewhat frustrated because you know how good you are and you know that your scores are too high out there, and you're seeing guys shoot lower scores, and you know that you have more talent than they have.
Right.
You just get on a plane, land in Orlando. I'm an hour and a half from Orlando or an hour and a half from Palm Beach, and come and see me. Your life.
Okay. Okay. I just may stop in and see you. I may just come down and see you, Stephen. You've got me so intrigued, and it was great information. So remember, fluidmotiongolf.com is the website. Stephen, thank you so much for coming on. I know you've got a busy schedule. It was absolutely fascinating. I know we're going to stay in touch, and we'd like to have you back on sooner than later, my friend.
Dennis, I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, and you're a really good guy.
I appreciate that, especially coming from you. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Stephen. All right, Stephen Yellen, everybody. Fascinating. Who doesn't want more consistency? And if it's tapping into something that you've already got, hey, it makes it that much easier. All right, stick around. We're going to take our last break. When we come back, we'll close out the show right after this. Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at encoregolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to encoregolf.com and see for yourself. Your scorers will love you for it. That's ONCORE golf.com.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. We hope that the weather gets better, so the Players Championship continues at Sawgrass, and I've had the pleasure of playing TPC Sawgrass. It's a fabulous golf course, and of course, a lot of people consider the Players the fifth major. So you take that for what it's worth. But anyway, I want to thank our guest today, Stephen Yellen. Very interesting. So we hope you get a chance to get out and play some golf. The weather's good where you are. And just remember, keep it in the short stuff. And we're going to see you back same place, same time next week. So long, everybody.